What's going on, everybody? It's Matt from Night and Day Performance, and we're back here in the engine room. We're going to go ahead and get this 5.7 liter Hemi that was brought to us from South Texas torn down. The block's getting sent over to the machine shop, get everything checked over, get it honed and cleaned. Then it will come back. We're putting new rings, new bearings, soft rebuild on this one just to get the customer back rolling with all new wear items on the block. We're going to go ahead and get the short block torn down. The heads and everything were already taken off by the customer. So all we're doing is getting the crank and the pistons removed so we can send it over to the machine shop, get it cleaned, get that back assembled so we can come pick up the vehicle or pick up the motor. Well, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom. Like, subscribe, and share. Send it to your friends. And I appreciate the support. Let's All right, and just like that, we're done. See behind me, I have the block that's torn down. And over here, we have all of our components. We have our pistons, piston rods, our main caps, our crankshaft, I'm sorry. Everything's labeled. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get all of this stuff cleaned up as far as the internal parts. The block itself is getting sent over to the machine shop. It'll get cleaned, honed, decked, and inspected. So we know everything's good with that before we start reassembling it. So stay tuned for the reassembly. So right around here is where we're going to have a big problem come up. As I'm doing all my measurements and checking over everything to make sure that everything is within spec, I'm starting to realize that these bores are a little bit on the looser side, to give you the lamest term. I'm jotting down the notes, the specifications, as you can see here. Notating each one, and they're basically like maxed out on what I would normally accept going out the door for specification wise. Pretty soon I'm going to run into one that I just ultimately cannot let go out the door. That's where we're going to have a problem. This fell on the machine shop. The machine shop actually was supposed to check over this and make sure all of our measurements were still good. And they completely missed this last cylinder right here that I'm working on. This is why we always tell people that you have to make sure that you double check your specifications, your clearances, to make sure things are done right. Because you can't always guarantee somebody else will. You have to have your standard, set your standard, and stick to your standard. Alright, what's up everybody? It's Matt from Night and Day Performance back again. So as you can see, the block does not have pistons in it in this 5.7 that we were building. We had to take it all back apart because unfortunately we had an issue. Come to find out after we were doing our measurements and our file fits and checking our ring gap, one of the cylinders was out of round. So we went ahead and sent it back to the machine shop, had them go ahead and bore it 20 over, got a whole new set of Molle pistons, and we're gonna go ahead and get them installed. These pistons come pre-assembled already with the rings already on them, already file fitted and everything. I'm still gonna double check to make sure the gap is right, but these are the same type of pistons that you would have with your OE replacements. They're just a little bigger. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start getting those fitted into the motor, get the crankshaft put back in, get our bearings in, and we're gonna measure our rod bearing clearance. That's the only one we haven't measured yet. Everything else was good. So let's get into it. Alright, so as you can see here, there's somebody else in the room with me. This is one of my very, very good friends, Mike. He's in from Florida, and he just was hanging out at the shop with me like he normally does when he comes out to Texas. And he was looking at this engine, and we were just discussing some differences because he is a Chevy guy. So we were discussing differences between the Hemi and the LS platform. Just good old catching up with a buddy that's been gone for a few months, down in Florida. And then he's actually going over, helping me a little bit, tighten up some of the bolts, getting things ready for me. He is very mechanically inclined, and he builds engines as well, just not really on a daily basis. But he wanted to go jump in there, get his hands dirty, and spend some time with me for some reason. I don't know. That's something most people won't do. Hey, we appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate you for coming out with your G8 shirt on. And until next time, whenever you come back in town, man, next time you jump on another build with us. And as some of you know, I do have two kids, two beautiful boys. This is my youngest. It's over here in the bottom corner, Noble. He's actually in here because my wife went to go pick up my son from school. So he's hanging out with the boys in the engine room while I'm over assembling this. He's over there playing with his tablet. And in a little bit, he'll start playing with Uncle Mike and start throwing stuff around. But raise your kids to be around what you love, and maybe they'll love it too. You never know. I grew up around these engines and cars as a kid, and now it's my passion. It's something I love doing. So my kids do the same thing. Both my boys love cars. Both my boys love being around cars. Bring the whole family in. Have a good time. Enjoy what you do. Love what you do. And I wouldn't say you'll never work a day in your life, but you'll learn to love what you do and have a generous, happy life.